That is, if it's connecting. I don't know if it is. It seems to be. Hold up. Alright, everything's working now. Cool. Enter current time. That is 7:56. I can just... No. Nice. Alright. Uh-oh. Hang on, hang on. What do you want to say? Ah. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. You're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. And that's how I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. Don't even have any way of knowing. Okay. Ooh, a deal. Set the clock to your favorite time. Alright. Cool. We'll leave this for another ending. Alright. Damn.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Oh no! I forgot that was on.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Yay!
Employee
The
number
balloons!
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Or was he? Because that's the whole...
And then one day, something very
shtick.
peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Momentarily. Alright. Cool. I believe it's working. Good. Anywho. I think it's working. Yeah. Alright. Woohoo!
All of his
Aw, you
co-workers
took my
were
balloons.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
Whatever
room.
could it
Perhaps he
mean?
had simply missed a memo.
Hello? Nobody there? Okay. Add on to the new content.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting
Oh,
to
we
show
have to
you.
redo this. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Woohoo! Alright. Over the door, the mugs!
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the
This really
Stanley
is a shoddy looking
Parable
elevator.
and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Sure.
So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Okay.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time
The
ever,
first time ever.
the
Definitely the
Stanley
first time.
Parable 2.
Woohoo!
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few
I do really
minor
like this
additions?
office space.
Think of all the new territory we'll
The
cover
mugs.
with a fully
Time
fledged
to wake
sequel.
up. I like
An
that one.
entirely new experience, built from the ground up.
New
Why
mug.
there's so many possibilities? It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Never underestimate a coffee enjoyer. And
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
something about coffee
The
enjoyers,
Stanley
leather
Parable
sofas,
2.
and blurry
Now
rooms.
That's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to
Sure.
be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be.
Well, that
but
sounds like a
let's
problem.
take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic. Here we are.
Okay.
Go on.
We
Try
have to
out
go
some
turn
of
on the
them.
balloons. Ooh, I like that actually. That's kind of cool.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in
Papa.
the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons.
Oh.
But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Boat.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Good. Add some color to the place.
Or actually,
I'm not doing
maybe
the hole
I should have
again.
gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on. You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
Get a few more jumps in. No, hang on now. I have this trophy. No, I'm not doing that again. You open that door by moving every single slider to every single possible position in the options. It's just really damn tedious. I'm not doing it. Not again. Not just to open that door and see a whiteboard. Not doing it. Ooh, look at the collectibles, though. Onwards to see collectibles.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Hell of a way to present this. Woohoo! Figurine! Screw that room.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Can I open the door? No, I can't open the door. Ooh. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
It's grand.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button
that
will
works
say
for me.
your name, whatever name that is. Here,
I
let's have
mean-
you role play as Jim to really simulate
But
the
I
full
am Jim.
experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become
But I
a person
am
named
Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
Yes, I am
If
Jim.
so, then please step forward and press
Technically,
the
I am Jim. Mr. Narrator, I don't know how to tell you this, but my name is actually James, so Jim is a variation of my name.
button. Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
It'd be great.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
What? Nah.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim.
No.
I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Anywho. Moving on.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Again, that is a variation of my name. So it works. Is this anxious on my end? Anywho. Why is that one different? What? What? Is that the only one that's different? The mugs! That you heard Jim in the game. I'm sure many people wish they didn't, but they do. Mwahaha. Anywho. What's up through here?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical.
That's
that
what makes it
engendered
great.
A chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect
I probably
solution.
can, actually.
Come on, give it a try.
Yep, that's
Can
a bucket.
you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Well, now I know you're lying to me.
Go on and on, didn't they? All this
Let's
and
go.
more
Come on, open the
awaits
door.
you in the Stanley Parable too.
Just pick it up. The bucket!
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Alright, we already did the whole. Right, time to leave. Oh, hang on. Did I knock it? Oops, hang on. Look at that artwork while I grab something. Alright, cool. Let's go.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I thought you were down there, Mr. Suitcase. But I was gonna say, isn't it weird how there's just this random suitcase here? Just ominously. I guess Warren, that was a little shorter of a staircase. Alright!
So,
Show us what you
do
got.
think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not
Yeah.
exactly clear
Show
yet
it.
how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
That'll work.
Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
The fuck? This looks like a
Well,
multiplayer thing.
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let
It
me
looks
do a
like some kind of like
different
Squid
arrangement.
Games type shit.
Okay, yes, this is much
Dang, that's
better.
probably
I
how
feel good
multiplayer
about
games are
this.
made.
Here we go. Version 2.
More of the same there, Chief.
Who am I
Kitten,
kidding,
boss,
Stanley?
Hefe,
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
your
And I do
lordship,
very
whichever
much
you would
enjoy
prefer.
creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
The bucket!
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own.
Oh,
They
yeah?
would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and
Possibly,
simply,
possibly.
well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
Of course.
With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I I suppose it could, but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A
Yeah.
title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up.
All right.
All right, perfect.
What you got?
Go ahead. Take a look.
Show me. That's the void, Mr. Narrator. That's not what I asked for. In all honesty, though, I do actually really like this menu way better. The first one's nice, but this one's just cool. It's so simple, too. It's minimalist. It's subtle. Without being subtle. I don't really know if warped hallway with red lights counts as subtle, but it's cool to look at. Begin! Yet again. We can also go...
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley
My
worked for a
balloons!
company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Yes.
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Or where was he?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Oh no.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in
That's
all
just
his
rude.
years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
I don't
Something
remember-
was very clearly
I don't
wrong.
remember that camera angle
Shocked,
being there.
Frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got
I'm
up from his desk
alive!
and stepped out of his office.
Woohoo!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
Did
it
we
mean?
give 432?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
He still got
Perhaps he had
that early
simply
model
missed an
Apple
hour.
computer.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I like that there's a balloon here. Bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
I have the bucket now. Now we can go through everything with the
Stanley
bucket.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Broom closet.
Perhaps his boss's office was where... Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the
No.
bucket. You can feel that, can't
It's
you?
my
The aura
bucket.
of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
It's mine.
I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet
Well,
is trying to say here.
yeah,
It's supposed to
but-
go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley.
No.
Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
The bucket is
I know how hard it
mine.
must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is
What?
this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to
You
this stream of
cowards.
petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply That you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
Lies!
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
Never!
That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well,
That's semantics!
Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
Alright.
Go through each of them point by point.
Got it.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Alright. Here we go. What was the saying again? Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help
Wait.
settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Woohoo!
There.
Sticker!
Now it's settled. No more debate.
Wait.
No more discussion.
Let's show him the
Take our
sticker.
hike
That's
through
my
the closet with all your
bucket.
meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
You got a fancy way with words, Mr. Narrator. Can I get another sticker?
All right, I've got a second sticker back here,
Woo!
and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate.
Woohoo!
You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Hell yeah!
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Woohoo!
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
To the boss's office. Hold up a minute.
You found one
Woohoo!
of them. One of the miniature Stanley
Figurine!
figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of
Yeah,
these.
no
only
reward.
The intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each
that sounds
and every
disappointing.
moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Yay! I have no idea what that says. I can't read that. Somebody zoom and enhance that. We'll need it for the lore or something. We'll get MatPat on the job or something. I don't know. Anywho. I got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say that's a lovely purse.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This,
My bucket.
You know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like
What about
that. Another
Figlarines?
Stanlerine under your belt.
Or... Ooh. Soap.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
The bucket knows all.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Figlies
What
isn't
name
bad
better
either, honestly,
encapsulates
but I
the
like
intrinsic sense
Figlarines.
of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1. Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Or Stanlers. I like that one too, Stanler. A staturine.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
I feel like minifig would be too
It
easy.
would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Safety in
Soothing
my
him,
bucket
comforting
full of
him,
stickers.
reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Woohoo! Somebody call
Stanley
extension
and the bucket
914.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the
I don't
office was
remember these being here.
videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Cradle it gently. Cradle it gently.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had
Maybe.
the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Wait.
What
Bucket,
kinds of things
are
does
you
a
the
bucket
pirate
want to
up
do
there?
or not want to do in the first place?
The world may
These
never know.
questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point,
I just
he could
love the
trust
thought of him
no
just.
one
No!
except for the bucket.
That'd be fucking
But here was
hilarious.
the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Interesting. Back to the void.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Did we?
Was it over? Yes! They had done
Freedom!
it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
That's
Both
a
of
weird
them
thing to want to
begin
do.
watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
That actually
True,
sounds kind of
It was a
fun.
simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
I mean, we could probably find some ladders and get over that.
Lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Later, bucket.
Even the facility
No.
itself recognized the incredible calming
No.
presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket
What?
in his arms. Not while this building has
trapped
anything
forever.
to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket.
At
To be
least he
trapped
has the
eternally in
bucket.
Darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Stanley died. Woohoo! All right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I don't
Stanley
know.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The Figurine Finders Committee. They're having a meeting today at the meeting room. Well, I have to attend that. Because I found them.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Actually, what if I get that with the bucket? I never tried that. Put it in. Alright, let's go attend our mandatory meeting for the Figurine Finders Committee.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Actually, there's no more. Yeah, actually. Alright. I'm here for the meeting, guys! Ah, fucking damn it, I'm gonna get fired for this. We need more planks. Warehouse access plan. Produce 1 plank to allow ease of access past fence. Okay. Oh! There's only really like 2 left. Yeah. And I know where they both are. Wow. It will be a row yard. Alright, well, I'm gonna get fired.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
No!
If I did, you can guarantee we be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yeah, we'll go turn the controls on with the bucket now. Actually, what if I take the elevator with the bucket? Hello, China. Alright. No difference with the bucket. Got it. Couch. Open the door, please.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all?
Yes, the bucket
Was
knows
the bucket
all.
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Do 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 do. Dog. Anywho. Somebody's telling you to call 911 extension 914.
Door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind control facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be fine, Mr. Bucket.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence
Should
as
I
well?
fill you with frogs?
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
If I fill you with frogs
These
and sling you
questions
around, will you
raised
be a green or
furiously
red
in
bucket?
Stanley's feeble
A
mind.
Christmas bucket. Woohoo! Elevator, let's go!
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
Yeah.
At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
We should all get a bucket.
But
Alright.
here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
That
And
sucks.
as the cold reality of his past began to
Ooh.
sink in, Stanley
Words.
decided that this machine...
Wah!
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take
Maybe.
over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket
Evil.
have betrayed him like
Evil
this?
bucket!
Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Why?
Birds. Silly, silly birds.
I mean,
The control buttons became active again.
what makes them silly? I don't understand.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another.
What
and
makes
there
them
dawned on
silly?
him, This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was
I
a
guess
facility
that
for
makes
monitoring
sense.
and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along?
Um,
Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery.
I hate to tell
Stanley
you,
and the
but
bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest
I
of
think
their
this is the
lives
wrong
here
site
in
for
this
that kind of
place,
stuff.
flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
I guess... Can we leave, Mr. Bucket? Oh. Well, I got the bird ending. Load game. Thank you. I think. Alright. Cool.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
Waiting
could
for
it
that
mean?
phone to ring again.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Bucket!
the confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Alright. We're gonna go this way
Stanley
this
clutched
time.
the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
We're
else.
getting figurines.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Lorines. Very
The
soon,
Figler
you'll collect
and
the last
Lorines.
one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back
Yes.
to when you had no Figler and Lorines. None of us can.
Figler and Lorines. It's like a tongue twister. Figler and Lorines. It's through the vents. The bucket shall guide us through the vents. Oh. What? What? What is that? What are you? What? I don't understand. Beware the referee of pain. What? These are cool doodles. $500 of raw copying power. Cool. I've never tried coming in here with the bucket. What?
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
What?
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense.
Of course not.
There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
Oh. That was the plan all along!
Unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's
The
there?
aliens! The aliens!
Camporata.
Cool. Nice. I've never actually gone in there with the bucket before. I've never seen that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had sensed strength spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Let's go, bucket!
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We'll do the last two over here with the bucket. I don't know what the last one is. We'll get that momentarily. Broom closet!
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
Oh, there's three
office.
more. That's right, because down here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in
Yeah.
such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
Am I?
The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
Uh-oh.
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket.
But it has
It's
my
just a
stickers!
normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from
The
this.
bucket!
Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might
Why'd you
experience
take
without
bucket?
the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I
Yay!
must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
I don't know.
Could it truly
Oh.
be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to
Yay!
find the
Find the bucket!
He had to return to his old friend. It was the only
Find
way
the
to truly
bucket!
restore his sanity.
Where'd it go?
And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket
Where?
had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Ow.
It was incredibly painful.
Oh, you mean
Stanley
literally.
doubled over in pain and blacked out.
He meant literally.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Welcome back,
woke up on a
Mariella.
day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Is
But
this
on
just
this
the universe where everybody has a bucket?
Her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had
Yep,
no
this is a
bucket.
world where everybody
Of
has buckets.
course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time.
Praise be to
There
bucket!
were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Yikes. She must not be wearing heels then. Alright, let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What? I've never seen it go to the left before. Huh. Rocket.
Stanley picked up
What
the
have you
bucket and
done?
smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Bucket, what have you done to reality?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Open the door,
Stepping
please.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Yes.
Was the
Bucket knows all.
Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Let's go. Come on, Bucket. Let's
Stanley
go.
and the bucket walked
Do
straight ahead
stuff.
through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Yes. Mind control facility. Hey,
The
Bjork.
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
Whee!
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered.
I at least want to turn the screens on. There.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley
it.
nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Get up.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Monitored.
The bucket had never seen anything
What's up
like
with that
this,
one?
and it very nearly burst into tears.
Which
as Stanley
employee is
prayed
that?
Gently, reassuring
Which
it that everything would
employee
be
is
fine.
528 and what plus 492's office? Huh. Let me get a closer look.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing
Oh,
and into the dark
no!
void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this
That's
enormous
cool
pit,
to see
and
from
so
this angle. Do it
eventually
again.
They decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get
Yeah,
comfortable
it's
down here.
awesome.
So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It
Couch!
really wasn't so bad down here. A bit cold, perhaps. After some time had gone
Oh,
by,
it's
they
there.
installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Interesting.
But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in
Well,
that it really
where did we
started
get
to
these?
feel like a home.
How did
In
we
fact,
get these?
After some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility.
That's cool to see.
This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
I don't know about that.
This made no sense at all to
Look
the
how many new mugs
It was
we
simply
got.
trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on.
Yay!
The two of them waited for a very long time.
Awesome. Losing our madness at the bottom of the mind control facility. Or losing our sanity, not our madness. Falling into madness, yes.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries?
Oh, what we may
Did
never
something
know.
crucial happen? What? The good old bucket.
Bucket.
Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
What's over here? Let's see.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered
Yeah.
the door on his left.
We'll do that one later.
This was not
There's two more
directly
things
to
over
the
there I
meeting
need to
room,
do.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Somebody should fire 445. His office is a mess.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Later.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Okay.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Follow the bucket. The bucket knows all.
Now pick up the phone,
said the bucket.
pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Okay. Ah, the white void. The anti-void, if you will. Hello. I can hear the bucket
This
jiggling.
is a sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bucket. It's me or bucket. Take me to work. Okay.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Okay. Back home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location.
Jeez,
That's
that
it.
filing cabinet
It
must be a
doesn't do
bitch to get
anything
to.
else.
Bucket. Don't listen to the loud man. Not listening to the loud
You see,
man.
he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket.
Where-
You know, once upon a time it was
Where does
me he
Bucket?
took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now
Bucket,
all
what
he
are you
cares
doing?
about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Ignore anyone else, anyone in your life except for me.
It's sad.
You
I
know,
suppose he doesn't
this is
need
what
me
happens when you get
anymore.
into an abusive
From
relationship,
now
I
on,
think.
He's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Maybe.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more,
My
what am I
favorite
trying to say?
channel, the
Sturdier,
anti-void.
more capable
Channel
of
4.
transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Relive this same day with me over and over.
Oh my god, what am I saying?
Bucket.
Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Okay.
Oh no. I'm having feelings.
What's with the candles?
Bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket?
Oh
Hear what the bucket has to say. Do
What?
anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this
What's
troublesome
with all the
situation.
candles?
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to
No!
me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or
Close
I'll...
your eyes. We died again. The bucket killed us. Go back to work, Stanley. Okay. Alright.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
That's also a new one. A beep beep. I'm gonna catch you this time. Mayhaps, perhaps.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked.
Stanley just
On an
smiled.
adventure, that's where we're
Anywhere
going,
they
Mr.
went
Bucket.
together would be perfectly fine. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Yeah, we'll
and
go
entered
to the
door on
right.
his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
along,
took the door
bucket.
on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
Let's
Good.
go up here and unplug the phone this
Now
time.
ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this
Diversity.
obvious fact.
Let's go.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Up there on the wall, you see?
Where?
There's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point."
Oh.
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket
No!
here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know
What
is
if?
a bucket? and
What if
isn't
I
a
want to
bucket?
see what
I
happens
suppose that
if
would
I take a
explain lot
bucket
about
back
your
there?
behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do
Cargo!
something about it.
Operator's manual.
This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly. and
Your-
properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is
Your
and
comprehensive
isn't a
resource
bucket. Please, step in here
for
a moment.
using the cargo lift. Oh, cargo. I get it. Alright. What do you got to show me, Mr. Narrator?
Now then, I'm going to run you
A
through some
game
tests and
show!
errors, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
I mean, I have a reference,
Simple enough,
so...
right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Indeed.
Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
I knew it. I believe the first three are wrong.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
No, I think this one... Yes!
This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Goodbye, tractor. Oh!
Is this a bucket?
Of course that's a bucket!
This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both.
What?
Gotcha.
How is it both? How is the bucket both? How is
Item-
it both
Wait, hold on.
and
I can't
bucket
find the
and
next
not
one.
and
Let me see.
bucket?
It should be around here somewhere. Yes, thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
How?
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket?
This
Mere
is
moments
bucket.
ago I could answer these questions
I'm
with
just ignoring a
confidence,
sign.
and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this.
Yes.
I'm losing myself, and myself was
Damn.
all I ever had to begin with.
I have to get into the bottle of
I'm
water.
afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Well, I guess the secret is out. Everything is a bucket, apparently. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
it's
to
to
the
the left
meeting room.
again.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket.
Bucket. A strong bucket. A humble bucket. A committed bucket. A bucket of culture and distinction.
Alright, bucket. Let's go.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling
The
to him,
bucket. It
telling him
calls
that
to
the
me.
employee lounge
Holding
was simply
me
the place to
forward.
be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I am a shrub.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure.
Indeed.
Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey. The no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left
not yet.
to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
Yeah,
else.
we'll go up here.
The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But
door is
Stanley
still
chose
open.
not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Eh.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
The dark room.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now
Ring,
pick
ring.
up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up
Ring,
the phone, and it will take
ring.
us back home, where we can go about life
Ring,
together.
ring. No.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things.
Or
Buckets
is it?
can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that
I
one
prefer
can watch
slapstick
to fully...
myself.
Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting
Or
right
at least in
here.
terms of
Let's
what I
take a
like to
look.
watch.
What
Oh.
is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies?
Oh.
And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit,
What does that have
with
to do
one
with
of
it?
your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing.
Interesting.
To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny, I guess. I'm not going to scream that.
Good. This saying is
Okay.
a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting
What?
hard data from your audience on how
Data?
rapt they were throughout the joke
Collecting
is the only way
hard
to grow
data?
or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times. Just to
Why?
ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the
What?
12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely
Not the
die in a
12-legged
hailstorm
invaders.
of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Woo! Yeah!
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and
All right.
walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery.
All right, let's go.
Come along, let's head back.
And aha!
I
Oh.
can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept.
Hey, don't
The
know
king of
about
comedy.
that.
That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we have the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
I don't know about that. It is a nice lounge.
Here we go. You ready?
All right, let's go.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready?
All right.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
But you said
Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this was all covered very clearly.
But you said
There's
go to
no
the
way I
left.
can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on.
Oh.
All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint.
All right. I'll go back. We'll do it again. Oh.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again.
I don't know about that.
Videos. Let's see.
At least I have my bucket. The fucking bucket! Alright, back into it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
The embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
I don't remember this. Why is this hallway dark? What? Oh, I remember this now. Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
But what if I go... Yeah.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
but isn't
telling
it?
him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yeah!
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Now we'll go this
Stanley
way.
took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Woohoo! Load!
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh. I guess this is an intervention.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere.
the bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel.
The
They
Fern!
want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes,
Somewhere
that's what the fans
new.
want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I only
It's
told
as
you one of
classic
those
now
might
as it
be
was
true.
Back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
What are you saying, Mr. Narrator Man?
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
But why?
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
The Bucket
I think
Destroyer!
it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Maybe, yeah.
Can you
I
guess
mean-
what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say
Are
goodbye
those
to the bucket, and then
Pistons
pop it into the machine.
outside of an engine? Why? Well, I mean, the Avenger line goes there.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that
Uh-oh,
you give it
you
the
can't
bucket.
give it the
I
bucket!
don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see,
Shut
if
up!
you were to really
Shut
explore the
up!
Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the
away!
fans will be clamoring for after this.
Run away!
Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed
I
it.
can't.
We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
The anti-void once again. I'm gonna go get some more water real quick.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spell-binding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I forgot I already had some water, but now I don't have to get up again. Perfect.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Bucket.
simply missed a memo.
I said
The
bucket!
bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would
We have to
become both of those
go
things.
up to the secretary's office.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yes. We'll get those momentarily. Broom closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I
I
have no
know.
remaining... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Hop, boop. Alright, let's begin again. Just for the sake of speed. And this should be over
All
here.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a...
Perhaps. Perhaps I may have did. So I should go back to the office and check my emails. Or something like that. Whatever office people do. Yeah! Oh. No. Wait. Okay, I can't bring the bucket to the heaven ending. Can I? Is there quite possibly a way? I don't think I can. Because that closes
All of his
locks.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had... Not
Bucket.
everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
This is different again.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Indeed.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
We have just a couple more things we need to do with the bucket.
Stepping
Can we-
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
The bucket knows all, I tell ya!
Guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Habu! I said a habu! Habu! There we go. There we go. I got the button pressed. Okay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that
But
read,
escape!
Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket
No.
would both meet a violent death.
Never!
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every
No.
opportunity to turn
Of course
around
it's shut.
and
Every
get
door
back
behind
on
me
track.
shuts, right?
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very
Yes.
painful death for each of them.
Onwards. Woohoo! Do 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 do. Ooh, Sparky! Yay! We'll die together,
As the machine
Bucket.
whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death?
You'd be
This is what
surprised.
Stanley thought to himself. and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
But the bucket! The bucket!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly
power of
into
the bucket.
enormous metal jaws.
The
In a
power!
single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
What about Stanley? Hang on now. The Stanley Parable.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. Interesting.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take
Bucket!
a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that
Wait!
blinded him?
That's my
Can you
bucket!
see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in
Wait a
his
minute!
short life?
Why did you take my bucket? 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets. The greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer suffered catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. Yep. That'll do it. Well, I can't go this way. Oh. A bucket with 2 handles. Such a design never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Each year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it? Why? It makes some sense. You'd have more grip. Or you have a wider grip. The Inferno Bucket. Powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Ooh. The Stress Bucket. An analogy. Ah, I see. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Presented without commentary. Interesting. Cavemen worship the bucket as gods! Or something like that, right? Yeah. Chair.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
This is my bucket. Blue light. The Hanging Bucket. So this piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. What? No! My bucket! Since you stole my other one.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Why?
Let Stanley die.
What?
Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Oh, hang on now. Let's restart. Because we're gonna die anyways. And I want to see if choosing to restart actually does anything. It doesn't seem to be the case.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
All right, Mr. Bucket, we need you for
Takes a
one
lot
more
of
thing.
humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his
One
feeding
more
and then
ring.
proceeded onward. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Real quick, I'm going to restart the game because that is needed for something. I'll be doing it a bit, because you have to restart the game a certain amount of times in order to... unlock a certain ending. Alright. Developed by Cross. Cool. Ah, the current time. It is 9:36 now. Oh, actually, no, it said put in my favorite time. There we go. Your favorite time of day. Let's use another slider to find out. Oh, how accurate is it? It is not accurate at all. Actually, no, the time of day is accurate. So it's a little accurate. As in, like, it's the afternoon. Adjusting these settings. Are you? It's good to collect data. More sliders. Ooh, perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. We'll put a couple of new ones up. Should be ready next time you boot up the game. So we'll have to boot up the game another, like, 2 times. I think. Or at least once. You have to do it, like, 3 or 4 times. Woo! But we should begin the game yet again, and we'll do one more thing with the bucket. Yes, we'll skip this. Onwards to the bucket!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace.
Follow me, Mr. Bucket.
Delicate, assertive,
Oh?
yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, Bucket. We got a game to play here.
Stepping in.
Alright. Nice. Come along, Bucket. Trust the completionist instinct, I suppose. This hallway wasn't like this, I think. It wasn't that dark. I don't remember. Back in over here. And through here. You are now leaving. 760, 754. 55. Here's 56. $57. At 58. $59. One more floor. Come on, Bucket. We've plans for you. Woohoo! Escape! Go on, Bucket. We'll meet you later. We'll see you up ahead. Goodbye, Bucket. We'll meet again. Someday, down the road. Anywho, that'll be important later. Ooh. Actually get to hear it launch this time. Woohoo!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
Bucket
room.
is gone.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket is gone. So, I believe I have to redo the
When
main
Stanley came
story
to a set of
again.
2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
I think I have to beat the game again in order to unlock the new content again. So I'm gonna just do that real quick.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here. So he
Oh,
turned around
was
and got
there?
coming to a staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story
not
as
this
quickly
again.
as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Just open the door,
That
please.
kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments
No.
with some calming New Age music.
Why? I hate New Age music. It's not music. It's not calming either.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Alright. Hop on down the elevator.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
Oh.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though
Ow.
he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Pretty
Why
well
did he feel
hurts.
this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nice.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
I made
Stanley
it.
thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Do you? Do we?
Now the
I?
monitors come to life. Their true
These are
nature
questions for
revealed.
later.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom...
Why do
meant
459 and 491 have identical offices, just reversed? That makes no sense. Whose office is that? 342, man, your office sucks. It's just a long, scary hallway.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Probably.
That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
Never!
It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I still really like that delivery.
But here was the proof.
Utterly
The heart of
blind to the
operation.
world.
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or
Woohoo.
content.
Button!
Walking, eating,
Yeah.
working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would...
Haboosh!
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won!
Victory!
Hooray! And yet, even as the immense door
I can't even
slowly
see the
opened,
top of the door.
Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still
We'll watch it
lay
as it
unsolved.
slowly comes down through the
Where
screen.
had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Magic!
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but
Perhaps.
to let go.
Perhaps.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps...
Well, no, people will
the
always
only
try to do
thing
those
worth
things.
knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Whenever it's done opening!
Stanley felt the cool breeze
Alright.
upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him.
Yay.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Woohoo!
And Stanley was happy.
We are free again! We've won our freedom twice. Alright, so the new
All of his
content
co-workers
should
were
be
gone.
open.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket's
Perhaps he
bet
had simply
replacement
missed a memo.
bucket! But we don't need you right now, Mr. Replacement Bucket. We need to unlock this, which means we need to do the old stuff.
When Stanley came to a set of two open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, not yet.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Or are
I
you?
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you
I am
that convinced
motivation.
that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, and there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all. But
Except that
would
it's
be like
not.
a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Oh, can we?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
The red door, but what if I walk back up here? Alright, red door it is.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
I
still
am.
don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, you mean the blue door? Okay.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
Oh, it's this. No, I don't need to sit through those stairs again. As amusing as the bit is. Alright, so we're back here. There's no more balloons. For some reason.
Stanley,
Ah!
I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause
Oh, yeah.
on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers.
Figglies!
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed
Figglies sounds
every
like a
last
food.
one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't
Maybe.
it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory
Gladly.
zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
There's
Just
more
one
boxes
time.
here. Hey, Mr. Narrator, there's more boxes here. Yay! Coffee mug!
Ah, here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain?
Exactly.
We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Never.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Ooh.
Okay,
Nice.
let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
It's always the one on the left, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It
The
was
boss's
third one.
shitter.
You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be
I wonder if the
surprised.
secretary gets
After
to use it
all,
as well,
science
or if they have
tells
to
us
go
that
like
it's impossible
down
to forget
down
your
an
third
elevator, or
time
like all the
doing
way
anything.
downstairs just to get to a restroom. Like, oh no, you can't use the boss's restroom even though you're the boss's secretary. You have to go use the
What's
restroom
next?
on like floor 5 from like floor
Oh,
10.
yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh,
This pink room doesn't
I can't
exist.
actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Pink room? Where was the 5th one? Hold up. Under the stairs. What? Was there something in that box? I'm not crazy, right? There's something in that box. I just saw something in that box. I will watch it on the Shadow Play. Hang on. There's something in the box! What are you? What is that? What is that? Mouse? Rat? Mouse. Some form of rodent, perhaps. Poke your head up again. What? That's attention to detail. To add in something that small and easy to miss. What? Oh, it's actually a mouse or a rat or something. Huh. What was this pink room supposed to be? It was under the stairs, the beginning of the presentation area, then boss's bathroom, behind the boss's office. There's one in with the red and blue door, which is the next one. This is the one that was in the cargo or the storage area. Why? Why is it a pink room? Do all of them have rats in them? I find this room to be mildly concerning. What's with the rat here? Hello, little bugger. Wait. No. Hold up. Am I wrong? Wait, how many is that? Hold up. This is actually confusing me. So there's the first one that's in the presentation area. Then I got the one under the stairs. Then I got the one in the boss's bathroom. I got the one behind the boss's fireplace. We got the one in the cargo area. And then we got the one... in the red and blue room. This isn't one of the statues we actually found. This is a brand new one. This is a brand new one. Wait! Making no sense. What?
This was the fifth mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
To think this is what YouTube used to be. It still kind of is in a way when you think about it.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
I'm still trying to remember what that fourth one was supposed to be. That should have been all 6. Oh! No, it is a spare. No, it isn't. Wait. What? So I had 6. There was one in the presentation area. Went under the stairs. We went to the boss's bathroom. Why can't I remember where the fourth one is? thought this was the fourth one. There's the boss's bathroom. Yeah, no, the cargo area was 5 and then 6. Okay, so what was the fourth? Out of the stairs in the boss's bathroom. Behind the boss. So we got the one. Out of the stairs. Boss bathroom. Behind the boss's fireplace. That was the fourth one. And this was 5. The next one was 6. What? This doesn't make sense. Wait. Behind the boss, but that was the fourth one. Right, because it asks where you found the next one. Okay. I see where it came from now. That just bothered me. I had to figure it out. So the fourth one is the one that was behind the fireplace. But for some reason, he can't remember it.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors.
Yeah, the red and blue doors.
It's distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works?
Somebody should call maintenance and clean that.
This is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Through the red door! Oh.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Now we'll go through the blue door.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more. And
actually, you're just in time to see the...
Don't you remember the video?
The video, yeah. It's sped up, but...
Yes, I love that video.
Ooh, that sounded ominous. Back to the disconcerting pink room.
Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though.
See if my rat's still... Yeah, the rat's still here. I still don't know why this is pink room.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah, right there was... Okay, so this is the one from the pink room. That was an ominous hallway.
Second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is...
Who could forget this amazing red light?
Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories.
I want the bottom of a pool to look like this one day.
What else is there? What came before this?
I think that would be awesome. Just look into a pool and see this at the very bottom of it. Like actual statues and everything. Scare the shit out of house guests in the middle of the night. Woohoo! Speaking of flat circles...
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it. Oh, yes! The two doors! Who could have forgotten that?
The two
A classic
doors!
memory, this one.
Oh. They go to the same place, I guess. Yep.
And
Office!
before everything else, there was your office. Is there
Okay.
anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
The title
There's
screen.
something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Uh-oh. It seems our narrator, Fred, had
I'm
a...
remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different.
What happened?
I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions.
Oh, shit!
I became lazy, and I
Got
came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again.
Or can you?
I'll be stronger this time.
Probably.
I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good.
Cool.
I enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go.
Well, in that case, I'm going to
This
restart the game
is
again in a
story
moment.
of a man named Stanley.
Alright. Now to restart the game again. Alright. Makes sense. Life is a dream in a dream. Till the computer is barely visible. Got it. The dog and cat are friends. There we go. Ooh, turn number 5 into number 9. Okay. Which of the two made-up words is most appealing? Scrum tush or occuboinkle? Occuboinkle. Okay. What time is it? Yes, it is 10:09. Sure. What is time, anyways? Yes. That you haven't told me a myriad of things. Help. Sure, why not? Come back to visit me. Sure. We'll need you for the ending. I still really like this title screen. actually. Yeah, so I was right. I have to do it 4 times. So I'll have to. There we go. Time is yes. Time is always yes. What time is it? Oh. Does anyone really truly know? Probably not. Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. No more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. I still don't really know you. Good! That makes sense. And you don't know me. Good! That makes sense. And neither of us know what time it is. It is 10:12! Some settings are unsettable. Clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You get to set the clock like 3 times, it doesn't do shit. Okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? Of course. I don't get why other people don't. Maybe the only information I really learned about you. Yep. Okay, goodbye. The time depends on the timeline that we're in. Is this the dinosaur one? Probably. Not really in the job description, but that's okay. Okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. I will talk to you soon, computer man. Because we're going to go for the epilogue now. Because that's kind of the last thing to do. Actually, I suppose it could be worse. We could be in the timeline with robots with plungers. Ah! Back to the wasteland. Woo! Ah, California. Oh. Whoa, why is that lagging? It doesn't seem to like that fire animation. At least I managed to find a chair. And wood somewhere. Woo! Man, that's a lot of wind. Follow the moon. Follow the moon! Ah, where are we? Run from the sun! Run from the sun! Whoa. Hey! There he is. Hello, escape pod! Bucket! Woo! Everything will be okay now. We have bucket. Damn. That's some good wood. Everything else is rotted, but it's some good wood if it's held up against all this. Oh, a review! First game teamed with originality, Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. Of course you did! It is bucket. What does that say? Cat dog born. Whoops. I guess that slider, I guess I got a little too close with the slider. Ooh! Gym buttons! I think.
Jim. 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 Jim.
Yay! No more spin-offs, no more sequels. Yes, yes. Ooh, I see secrets over here. I see secret light. More buttons!
Jim. Jim. Jim.
Woo! More buttons!
Jim. 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 Jim.
I must hit all the buttons.
Jim. Stanley.
Oh, hey! That one's different!
Jim. Jim. Stanley. Stanley. Stanley.
Yay! I mean, technically it's accurate either way. Woo! More figurines! Ooh, a piece of candy. Down we go. Let's go, bucket. Hello again. Nice to see you. Cool. Hello, computer man. Terrible to learn there'll be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise. What nonsense. Stanley Parable is not sacred. We don't need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And what if people hate it? Who cares? You see, that's the narrator's problem. He's so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake, don't cling to the legacy, let it burn. It's not hard, in fact, let me show you. Together we're going to make Stanley Parable 3. Change the number on the title screen, and a really dumb subtitle for the game. One of my favorite parts. What should we go with? A whisper of ooh. A whisper of pirate. The whisper of ice cream. Employee of the Printer Jam. Oh, quarterly Printer Jam. That sounds like a magazine almost, though. Like a spoof of a magazine. Crocodile Chemicals? Crocodile Pirate. I like Quarterly Printer Jam. It's absurd, I love it! Each time you restart the game, we'll advance it by one number and pick a new subtitle. Yeah! Nothing in the game will change. Nice. Just be the same content recycled again and again with a new title screen. Let's do it! Oh. He never did give me the broken trophy. Except that I already did get it. Yay, a trophy machine is fixed. Gonna keep this train rolling. Cannot end, it can only spiral in on itself forever. Let's go. One last thing. Enter the current time. It is now 10:21. Whoa! And the brightness setting. And we had our bucket in the end. Nice. That's pretty much the end of the game. I'm pretty sure I did everything I could do in this game, for the most part. Pretty sure. Yeah. All the trophy stuff I've already gotten, except for like one of them, but I don't quite have the convenience of playing this game for the whole 24 hours of a Tuesday, which is a trophy. But this game is exceptional. I think more people should make games similar to this and actually put effort into making something instead of just churning shit out that they know people will buy just because it's got a title on it or something. Anywho, that's kind of all I have time for right now, and that's the end of the game, so we'll see you later.